So imagine, if you will, the doctor tells you you have an infection and you have to be airlifted off the ship. And you're going in your mind, the expense of an airlift off the ship, you're going to be landlocked into a town in a foreign country. What the heck is going on? And then you find out it was all completely unnecessary. So a man and his wife were sailing on the Sky Princess when the man felt a pain in his leg. And he went to the doctor saying, well, you know, is it possibly it's this thing I had before? And the doctor looked at him, said, you know, I'm really afraid you have an infection. You need to have your leg scanned. You need medical treatment. You need to go see a doctor. You may need an operation. The guy, what? No, but it just hurts. It doesn't look like there's an infection. He says, no, you're gonna need you need to get this done right now. And so they airlifted the gentleman off the ship 800 miles from the coast to Shetland, where when he showed up at the hospital, they did not scan his leg. They did not operate. They looked at him quickly and said, oh, you have a strained muscle. You have a strained muscle in your leg. Now, I love my doctors to death. They've kept me alive all this time with all my cancer surgeries and chemo and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm always trying to err on the side of the doctor's decisions because they don't have the full equipment that you do in a hospital. They don't have a full testing lab. They don't have a lot of the things. Sometimes they have to err on the side of caution. But it's really hard to see how you have an infection and you may need surgery to a strained muscle diagnosis can be that far apart. Was it wise to airlift him off as fast as they did? They made the decision in like 45 minutes to airlift somebody off a hospital. Now, if that man didn't have insurance, he's out $20,000, $30,000. Right? For nothing. What turned out to be absolutely nothing. As it was, he was stranded in a foreign country, had to get, air flights back home, and luckily it wasn't all the way back to the United States or someplace 8,000 miles away that would have cost a fortune or anything like that. But I don't understand. And I know there's going to be some people out there, well, yeah, it can look like one thing and it can be another. Absolutely. That's why I'm crossed here about condemning anybody who is worried that it might be something worse than it turned out to be. Right? But if I pulled a muscle in my side and the doctor came to me and said I had to have liver transplant, and I get to the hospital and they say, no, you pulled a muscle in the side, it almost seems like, that kind of variance here, that's so extreme, right? That an infection needing surgery and x-rays and scans and everything, and they did none of it when they got to the hospital. Absolutely none of it. So somebody at the hospital looked at this gentleman and said, you have this, where a cruise ship doctor looked at this gentleman and jumped to the worst possible conclusion. I wonder what caused the diagnosis. And it could be something that was much more looked more severe at that exact moment, and then 2 hours later, it looked better. Which means, did they rush it? Did they call for a medical evacuation too soon? And right now, the gentleman doesn't want to reach out to his insurance company because he's afraid all of his rates are going to go up if he makes a claim on his insurance company because he pays like yearly travel or stuff like that, like I do. Well, I can understand that as well, because one big claim on insurance, all of a sudden your rates are double, and suddenly you can't cruise as often because you can't afford the insurance to get on the cruise ships. Well, I don't know. He's put in a request to Princess to look at this, and yeah, I hope Princess. I'm always fond of Princess because quite often they make that good decision, right? They make that. Look at what happened on the Sky Princess with bad weather. They gave people a 20% future cruise credit because the ship ran into bad weather and missed some ports. Had nothing to do with the ship in danger, rough seas, or anything. They said, we'll give you 20% because we missed a couple ports because we couldn't pull in for bad weather. Great. Now, in this case, I hope Princess reaches out to this gentleman, and if they read the medical reports from the hospital and they say, yeah, he walked in, we looked at him for 10 minutes, it was a strained muscle, the gentleman's back home now, he's doing fine, it was nothing close to what was diagnosed, then I think Princess should reach out and be picking up that tab. And if there's an air evacuation, I think they should pick up that tab as well. And then I would question what happened. But again, in the heat of the moment, in the spur of the moment, it may have looked like something much worse than it turned out to be. And as a cruise ship doctor, you want to try and err on the side of caution for your patient. And I completely, and any doctor out there wants to err on the side of caution for their patient. So I completely see that. I understand that, but the discrepancy in the diagnosis and the reality of what happened and how fast the people at the hospital made that decision throws a lot of questions coming that way. Well, what do you guys think? Err on the side of caution? Too soon? Or a combination of both? Or should this never have even happened and they should have waited a couple hours to see how he was progressing? I don't know what the right decision is. I just hope Princess reaches out to this gentleman and his family and makes it right. And quite often they do. So I'll let you know if they go that route, or if the man has to, who knows, maybe sue or go to his insurance company or both. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.